All right, welcome to today's vlog. So today we're going to be talking about the single biggest difference that you can make to your mental, nutritional and physical health in one simple habit. Now, please be aware that simple does not mean easy, okay? Very, very important little difference there. Simple is not easy. So it is very simple. It is something that you can do. Doesn't take any money. It doesn't take any anything from you apart from a little bit of effort and a little bit of time. That is it. Okay. So the reason this makes such a huge difference to every facet of your health is that it targets all three at the same time. Yes, it affects your physical health because you're going to make sure that you are progressing and you are conscious of what you're doing. It's going to make a difference to you nutritionally because you're going to be getting more out of your food. You're going to be getting more mentally as well because you're going to be making sure that you are mindful when you eat. So this is what the habit is. Eat slowly and stop at 80% full. That is it. Okay, it is very, very powerful, very, very simple, okay? Which we want to make sure that what we do is when something is so simple, we just dismiss it. We go, oh yeah, I know that, and we move on, okay? If you knew it, you'd be doing it, okay? So you know it, as in you K-N-O-W it. Don't know it, as in N-O it. Don't just know it, right? You need to know it, okay? So we want to make sure that you start slowing down when you eat. So maybe that means setting a timer. So maybe you can start with 10 minutes, okay? Eventually you want to make it to 20 if you can. So making it up to 20 minutes, okay? So working your way there. Don't start at 20 minutes. It's going to be super overwhelming. And then you're just going to go, you know what? This isn't working for me. So start really small. Maybe if you might be 5 minutes. Maybe you're so used to just scoffing so fast and that you need to kind of move on to your next kind of task really quickly. Then what we're going to also do is stop at 80% full because that's they go hand in hand together. You can practice them separately, but practicing them together, you get more bang for your buck and you're going to slow down anyway. You're being more conscious, being more mindful. You might as well do it all in one, right? Get two things for the price of one. So we're going to make sure we're going to have these two beautiful habits and we're going to use them together. So stopping at 80% full can be really hard because it's quite difficult to know what 80% full is. Most of us don't know what 80% full is, yeah? We know what let's say about 15% is. It's like, oh my God, I'm so hungry, I'm gonna eat a horse, right? And we know what 100% full is. It's I'm on the couch and I'm so bloated and I'm in a pasta coma, right? We know what those two are. We know full well what 100% feels like. We know very well what getting super low feels like. 80%, a little bit harder. Like, what is 80% and what does that feel like? I'm not really sure. So when you slow down, you start to realize what 80% is, right? And 80% basically is when you're no longer hungry. So when you're eating, you're gonna be slowing down. Maybe one of your habits can be to put your fork down between, every mouthful or spoon down, whatever you're using, and just put it down. Maybe you might be starting to use chopsticks for certain meals. That really makes you slow down because you're not able to get so much on your fork or your spoon. It's only a small amount. And that way you can start to notice your satiety signals. So your satiety signals will always be coming through, but most of the time they're just late, yeah? And it's not their fault, right? They're trying to get through to you. But the problem is that we eat so fast these days that they don't actually get time for us to register them. So by the time we have registered them, it's too late. We're already 2 plates down. We're absolutely, busting. We're trying to undo our jeans to go and sit on the couch and just relax. And we're just too lethargic to even do anything or try and make any kind of progress in any other aspects of our life. So we really want to make sure that when we focus on doing this, we realize that it's going to make such a huge impact on the rest of our lives, okay? So it's not just going to be the mental, nutritional, and physical health, which is what this is all about. It's also going to affect the rest of our life. It's going to affect our productivity. It's going to affect our energy levels, our vitality for life, yeah? So it's really, really powerful. So this week, I want you to challenge yourself to eat slowly and stop at 80% full. And it's okay if you don't get to that 80% full. And it's okay if you don't, take 10 minutes. It's okay if it only hit 8 minutes. It's okay if you're only doing 18 instead of 20 minutes. That's totally fine. Want to make sure that you are just working on this habit, okay? So challenge yourself for 7 days. Make a little note in your phone. Maybe you can get a nice little habit tracker. So we use habit trackers here, and we want to make sure that as we go through, we implement these beautiful, healthy habits. And each day, just give yourself a nice little tick every time you just work on this habit. Now, the more you work on it, the easier it's going to become it's going to become more ingrained in ourselves. So you might have heard that, making a habit stick takes 21 days. No, it doesn't. Okay. It might take shorter and it might take longer. Okay. It really depends on you. What matters more than your days is your consistency. So making sure that you're doing it, for example, every single breakfast to start off with, then doing it every single lunch, then maybe adding on the dinners, okay? Or flipping it around, whatever works for you. Just making sure that you get that consistency happening. So doing it for, say, 7 days, not for 2 days, and then doing it for 5 days, and then not for 3 days, and then going on again. After 21 days, you're not going to have a habit then. It's all about getting that consistency. So instead of trying to get 3 meals a day every single day for, say, 21 days, try and just pick one meal and stick with that just for 7 days, yeah? Then the second week, maybe try and add in a second one. So maybe you're going to add in one of your meals that's not the one that you've chosen. So make them do breakfast and dinner, or breakfast and lunch, or lunch and dinner, whatever it might be for you. And then eventually you can add your snacks in as well. So making sure that we're mindful when we eat. So some really good ways to kind of implement this habit is to ask yourself different questions while you're eating, right? So how do you eat slowly, right? We're so used to it. Like maybe have a conversation while you're having dinner. Maybe you can put your fork down or your spoon down in between your mouthfuls. Maybe you can focus on trying to chew a certain amount of times. These are all wonderful habits that really help you slow down. So whatever works for you, that's exactly what you're going to work with. And then you can start thinking about being more mindful when you eat. So when you're eating, maybe think about, what does this taste like? What are the textures that I'm feeling? What are the flavors that I'm tasting? Is this something that is satisfying me? So sometimes you might be eating something and you eat so fast, and then afterwards you kind of go, I really feel like some chocolate, really feel something a little bit sweet. Why is that, right? What's missing from your food that you're not getting already? There's got to be something involved. Otherwise, you wouldn't be craving that chocolate, that ice cream. Maybe it's like, you're craving, for example, pizza. There could be something that you're craving, some extra fats in your diets. Or for me, for example, I crave hot chips a lot, right? And I love hot chips, but I know why. So for me, I don't get a lot of salts in my diet, and I need to really up my salt. So I need to take magnesium supplements, and I also focus on getting potassium. So I might eat like a banana every single day and have my magnesium supplement. If I don't do that for a few days, oh, you better bet your ass I'm getting some hot chips, right? So we want to make sure that as we're going through, we start to notice these patterns. What's not filling us up? What are we craving? But the only way that we can understand and know these things is if we slow down. So this week I really want to challenge you. Start off with one meal. In our second week, maybe go into a second meal, and just keep trying to eat slowly and stop at 80% full. Okay, that's it from me, team. So I really like to know how you go with this challenge. So pop in the comments below. Every time you kind of get this done, maybe at the end of the week, you can leave a comment onto how you feel. But every time you do it, so kind of every meal, have a check-in with yourself really quickly, saying, how did that feel for me? Like, did I feel like it was rushed? Did I feel like it was really challenging? Because chances are it's going to be very hard to kind of slow down to that 20-minute mark. But maybe you reach that 10-minute mark and it's feeling a little bit easier, whereas at the start it didn't. So really check in with yourself after every time that you do that. And maybe at the end of the week, come back and let us know exactly how you went. All right, that's it from me. Make sure you subscribe to our channel, and in the description below you have a link to be able to join our mailing list, where you're going to get not just our vlogs but also our blogs as well. So you're going to be missing out on 50% of our content if you are not on that list. So make sure that you jump online and follow us on our socials as well. That's it from me, team. Mwah. Big love.